Can Sherrone Moore keep the momentum going at Michigan? I got two guys, really smart guys, that I'm going to ask right after the stinger. It's Felix Sharpe, Chris Moxley, and Nicholas Ian Allen for CampusToCanton.com. Hey, thank you for getting us to 3,000 subscribers. Why don't you go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to the channel so we can get to 4,000 by the NFL draft. That shouldn't be that difficult. We have a question here, and if you want to ask a question, go ahead and leave a 5-star rate and review on the Campus to Canton podcast feed, preferably on Apple, but we'll find it if it's somewhere else, and we will answer your question from there. All right. So today, gentlemen, Sherrone Moore, obviously the interim head coach, while Jim Harbaugh was suspended last year. He is now the permanent head coach moving forward. Jim Harbaugh has taken a little bit with him. Nicholas Ian Allen, do you think Sherrone Moore can keep the momentum going here for Michigan?
No. I like to think of myself as a pretty positive guy. I for the most part, am going to look on the bright side of things, college football specific and team specific, always looking for, a path to success. And there's simply nowhere to go but down for Michigan. I mean, undefeated national championship. Jim Harbaugh moves on. And, I mean, could they get back to the playoff? Could they win the Big Ten? Sure, yeah. But the bar is set so high already that Sherrone Moore stepping in, first-time, full-time head coach, taking over a program that's had its best season in a long, long time, and is inheriting a coaching staff and a roster that really just doesn't have much consistency and continuity. And I'm not fully convinced that this Michigan program, despite getting to the mountaintop of winning a national championship, is quite on the same firm ground recruiting-wise that a program like Georgia or Alabama in the last half decade or so. Those teams have been able to weather returning production, for example, rankings in the 100s, right, on the very, very low end of the national rankings. Michigan right now in our numbers is 124th in returning production. And though they ranked number one in roster strength at the end of last season because they have recruited well and developed even better, I just don't think that they have built up quite the depth to overcome just a huge, huge number of losses at premium positions like quarterback, like pass rushers in the secondary. I just think it's too tall a task, and they're coming from the highest possible point for Sherrone Moore to take over.
It's hard to disagree with that. I mean, since 2020, these are their recruiting ranks at the end of the cycle: 10, 13, 9, 17, 16. That's not going to get it done consistently year over year if you are a high-end program wanting to win national championships. You need to be top 5. You need to be at minimum top 10 every single year. Harbaugh has not prioritized that. He was interviewing for the Vikings job on National Signing Day. This is not someone who is supremely serious about the recruiting aspect of his job at Michigan. It was a far more of a developmental program, which leads me to my second concern, which is Sherrone Moore has a lot to replace on this staff. That includes defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. That includes strength and conditioning coach Ben Herbert, who had been there since 2018. He's now joining the Los Angeles Chargers with Jim Harbaugh. That's a huge loss for development a program like that. Other concerns. NIL is no secret that Michigan is lagging behind. I think you can blame Ward Manuel for part of that. They just haven't really pitched it. They're focused on the Michigan Man and the Michigan Way, an academic institution. I think they're starting to learn a little bit. They actually hired an NIL executive general manager through the Altia Sport partnership, which is kind of interesting. It's just somebody who's going to rally the base, essentially. I don't think they've named who that's going to be, but it is part of the Michigan administration. So they're working towards it. But right now, can Sherrone Moore keep their momentum going? Absolutely not.
Of course, Jim Harbaugh and, quite frankly, the offense overall lost out in elite quarterback recruits growing up in Ann Arbor's backyard. Bryce Underwood in the 2025 class, Dante Moore in the 2023 class. I don't think you can afford to lose out on recruits like that if you are going to be an elite program like Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, even Oregon now in the Big Ten. They lose that strength and conditioning coach. Michigan has always had, a lot of success in developing players, specifically with that strength and conditioning program. Going back to Mike Gittleson, if you're a real Michigan fan, you would know that name. Let us know what you think in the comments. Can Sherrone Moore keep Michigan's momentum going? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Peace.